Here's a problem I'm going to help you solve. Have you ever needed to miter two boards together on a 90-degree corner that have two different widths? And after cutting two 45-degree angles, did this happen? Motherfuck! There's an easy fix for this, and I'll show you what it is. And as an added bonus, I'm going to show you how to cut steep angles on a miter saw safely without losing your fingers, and show you some practical applications what this method is good for. So basically you got two different size pieces you're trying to join a miter on, and if you got two 45-degree angles on your miter saw, then you have this happen and it doesn't join up. So to avoid that, it's really easy. First we're going to take one piece, doesn't matter whether it's the wide one or the skinnier one, and we are going to flush it up to the edge here, and we're going to trace the outside, and then we're going to do the same on the other piece. All we have to do here is draw a line from our pencil mark here to the tip, and vice versa to the other tip. So that'll be one angle. And this one's coming this way, so we need to line up there. There. This stays, this goes. Mark that with an X so we don't confuse ourselves. And on our skinny piece, this is the heel and then tip. And this is going to stay here because it's going to go like so. So mark an X and that goes. Now, we could do one of two ways to find this angle. If you have an angle finder, you could line that up with your angle here, or I'm just going to do it quick and easy enough. I'm just going to line it up with my guide on the saw. This piece is going to be cut at about 37.5 degree angle on the miter saw. So another way we could figure out this angle is, instead of trying to sight it and line it up on the saw, you could take one of these sliding T-bevels and basically hold it on the one straight edge, get it lined up with your cut, snug it up, and then take it to the saw. You take your sliding T-bevel, take the edge, line it up with a saw fence here, and then now it's just a matter of lining it up with our saw blade. So before, we have our two 45s, don't fit. Now, after, we got two different angles. If you put them together, fit like a glove. Now just to show you one other thing, the greater the difference of the two boards, so this one's 4 inches, and this one's a 2-inch board, of course you're going to have a bigger difference here, which means the skinnier board is going to have a steeper angle cut into it, which might be a problem because our miter saw is limited to its swing here. So I'll show you how to fix that. So I'll do the same thing again. So this one, no problem. Just line it up. That one's 32 degrees. Here's the problem. I got 52 degrees on this side of swing. So just to show you, go all the way over here, and just looking at it, if I line up my tip with the red plate here for now, and look at the red plate here, you know, it's quite a difference, and I can't go any further over. So it means I'm going to have to tip this piece out. Now let's figure out how to do that. So I'm just going to grab a board. Doesn't have to be anything special, just a scrap piece. I just cut a 45-degree cut on here. I like to have a board behind here. The reason for that is I'll use this as a new fence to allow me more swing to get a steeper angle cut into my piece. Remembering this is cut at 45, and if I have a board behind here just sticking out past, it gives me something to butt against so that I got nowhere to go with this piece. If I don't, and then kind of get into this no man's land here with the throat, and there's a chance that this slides and moves. And you don't want a piece sliding and moving when you're cutting, because you can take it and throw it on you, and it's a good way to cut your fingers off. Now, just to figure out my angle here, I'm just going to move this out of the way. Start at 0. Let's just creep her in. There we go. Got that. So we're sitting at right on 13 degrees. So just to give you a brief explanation of how to figure out what angle you're actually cutting. So my fence board's cut at 45 degrees and my miter saw is set at 13 degrees. So if you add 45 degrees plus 13 degrees, give you an angle of 58 degrees, which is actually the angle you're cutting at. If you're trying to cut a 90-degree corner and you already know what one angle is already, such as 32 degrees from our previous cut board, then you can simply do a little math to figure out exactly what to cut the second angle at. So 90 degrees minus 32 degrees gives us 58 degrees, and that is what we just cut this board at. And if you're finding any of this information useful, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Clamp that in. I have my board sticking past here to kind of keep this from shooting out that way. And I got it all lined up with my mark. However, I still wouldn't hold it like this and cut it. You still risk the chance of this tip here getting pinched in here once you cut through your backer board, and the saw blade catching it and taking it and bringing your hand in here. So I'll show you what to do. So one way to hold this in place, so using pressure and just relying on your hand grip to hold it without getting thrown by the saw, would be to put some double-sided tape on your bed here and stick your piece down. That's going to help secure it. Or if you don't have double-sided tape, like me, just take some masking tape, clean off your saw bed so you don't got any dust on there. Like that. Push it down. Take the back of your piece here. Clean it off so that the tape will stick. Now, what we're going to do is temporarily glue this together with some CA glue and some activator, and rely on the tape to hold everything in place. So you don't want too much glue, but a little bit. You don't want to get this stuck to your actual saw. An activator. And we'll just start above it, kind of slide it down, press it in there, like that, and give it a few seconds here. If you look at that, she's holding on her own. Now, the moment of truth. Now, I still got all my fingers. I wasn't scared to cut it because everything was held without the risk of it getting thrown. And oh, I just take the tape off the back like that and like that, and take it off your saw right away too. And let's take a look. So 4-inch piece, 2-inch piece. Ta-da! So here's the test. Got two similar profiles, but different widths. Our wider board. So just to prove a point to you, this is only going to work when you do flat stocks. My angles are going to line up like so. Beautiful. However, you can see the profiles, they don't line up at all. So if you got different width stock that has a profile in it at all, it's not going to work for you. It's got to be flat stock. So what would be the practical application of using a miter joint like this, where you got a wider board to a skinnier board? Well, something like this. If you were trimming out a door jamb and you had a wider board on top and a skinnier board on the side here. A perfect situation to miter them together. Or you could be putting some trim work on, like some baseboards and casings, and they both happen to be the same thickness of stock. There you go, you could do something like that as well. And that would be a way to get your baseboard to work with your door casing and look nice and neat. Also, I had recently used this little trick on a live edge countertop I was working on, and this method came in handy to join two different size boards together in a 90-degree corner, as you will see. These are different widths from each other, where I'm going to be doing the 45. I'm actually going to be doing it 45 on this end, which is about 19 inches, and 45 on the other end, which is about 13 inches. Lay them on top of each other. Basically figure it out from my little trick I was talking about earlier, that there's 90 degrees, so I got a 90-degree corner. I opted to shift it forward. I got a little bit of a wonky front edge here, so that's that thickness, and then that's the point I'm gonna make my point to. So trace this one here. I'm just gonna mark it looking down there. We're gonna mark that here and here. Well, hopefully I taught you something new in this video, and someday this little trick will come in handy for you. Let me know in the comments if you ever use this method on a project, and remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.